Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from 6, and today we are checking out what happened to Haku, dot dot dot, question mark. So, don't know what he's going to be addressing in this, so let's just get straight into the video.
What happened to Haku? The title of this video sort of means two different things. I'm talking about what happened to Haku from the perspective of the story, and also what happened to Haku from the perspective of the fan base. The fan base seems to, at least to my knowledge, have forgotten about Haku. I don't see him talked about nearly as much as in 2019 when I had first joined the Naruto community.
I mean, that's true, yeah. Not a lot of people do talk about Haku. It's always Zabuza, Zabuza.
And I think, for good reason, that Haku should be talked about a lot more than he is currently in the community.
Like, it was our first introduction to Kiki Genkai as well, wasn't it? Like, you know, techniques that can't be learned, that is just literally just like, you're born with it kind of thing.
Haku wasn't the first antagonist introduced in the series. That title obviously belongs to Mizuki, but he was the second antagonist to fight with Team 7 after Zabuza, of course. His introduction is nothing short of extremely impressive. He one-shot Zabuza, to our knowledge at least, and Kakashi says that Haku might be the only time they run into a guy who is both younger than Naruto but stronger than him at the same time.
Yeah,
at this point,
deal.
we had just seen Kakashi make a complete joke of Zabuza. Sure, he did get done dirty during the beginning portions of the fight, but when Kakashi actually picked it up and started using his Sharingan to Genjutsu Zabuza and let out his moves before Zabuza was even doing his moves, it really became clear that Kakashi was just sort of a better shinobi than Zabuza, at least into the eyes of the readers and watchers who were first watching the anime or reading the manga. So Haku coming along and putting this guy down in simply 2 shots is extremely impressive, and it gives everyone the idea that this guy is nothing to be played with. Today I'm going to be breaking down and going over Haku's fights both while he's alive and in Edo Tensei Zombie. This will be similar.
The Edo Tensei, they really did both Haku and Zabuza dirty, man. They should have done more with them, but yeah.
Similar to what I did in my The High IQ of Sasuke versus Deidara video, so if you enjoyed that, you'll very much enjoy this video as well. Before we begin the video, as always, I'd appreciate if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel out a lot, but let's get started with the Land of Waves. As mentioned in the intro, Haku has a feat of one-shotting Zabuza, and to no surprise to anyone watching the video who's read or watched Naruto, this was a ploy to save Zabuza, not actually to kill him. And while I don't doubt that Haku probably could have aimed a little bit differently and actually killed Zabuza, that's just not what happened. This is normally grounds to just immediately dismiss a feat and ignore any scaling implications that could come from it.
Yeah, but he did that, and he could have just directed it and killed him, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do, but there is another thing Haku does here that's extremely impressive that not a lot of other ninja in the Naruto universe can even say that they've done, and that's outsmart Kakashi. Kakashi is obviously a seasoned ninja and he's very smart.
Very true, yeah. Kakashi fell for it, and he doesn't fall for a lot of things.
But on top of that, he's the best that the Leaf Village has to offer at this point in time, and Haku literally just completely evades him. I know Kakashi does figure out the plan later on down the line, but the plan has already happened at that point. He's already been tricked. So figuring it out now really only helps him prepare for Zabuza and Haku's inevitable return. I mentioned how outsmarting Kakashi is not a feat many other ninja could replicate, and it just so happens that another ninja happened to replicate it in this same arc just to give us a comparison to Haku, and that's his teammate Zabuza. Now I know that Zabuza and Haku had 2 different types of plans, but I'd still like to compare them, and I'd like you to hear me out, because I think that this was put in intentionally by Kishimoto to show us that Haku is more battle adept or a battle genius as compared to Zabuza. Zabuza more so outsmarted Kakashi in the fact that he used a ton of water clones and then caught him off guard, putting him into a nearby lake that was filled with his water jutsu in order to trap him into a water prison. These were things that were previously set up that Kakashi could not possibly have any knowledge of. Meanwhile, with Haku's plan, you need to talk about efficiency. Haku was able to come in, get Zabuza knocked out, and leave with Zabuza
so fast, so quick, had the explanation, everything was just done.
Very quickly, in and out, and outsmarted Kakashi. Now, like I said, this is a much less complicated plan than what Zabuza was trying to pull off, but both of them are trying to outsmart Kakashi, and it's undeniable that Haku was far more efficient at it. That's why I think
Yeah.
Kishimoto put this into the story to show us that Haku is just much smarter than Zabuza. It's sort of like a prep time versus raw intellect type of argument. Before I get started talking about Haku versus Sasuke or Haku versus Naruto, I want to make it abundantly clear to everyone that Haku was holding back
Yep.
on both of them. Sasuke even confirms this to us in his head when we get to read his thoughts, where he says, "Not me, him, he never planned to from the very
start,
beginning."
yeah.
After Sakura says that it's impressive Sasuke managed to prevent attacks to his critical areas. I'm sure also everyone has heard of the statement Haku has about being light speed in the data books. I covered it in my light speed and Naruto video a long time ago, but an interesting part of this statement that no one ever really seems to bring up that indicates Haku is holding back is that it says it's possible for him to move at the speed of light, but then it also says that it's impossible to react to that literal light speed movement, meaning
Right.
that at least within the context of Data Book 1, Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, or anyone else
Shouldn't be able
cannot
to keep up.
react to light speed
Yeah, yeah.
movement in the verse. This again basically just indicates that Haku was holding back when fighting Naruto and Sasuke. We are also told by Zabuza that it pained Haku to fight with Naruto and Sasuke, and that he only did it for him. Yet again confirming Haku didn't really want to fight them,
No,
and he was
never went all
holding
in.
back when
Yeah.
he was engaging with them. Now we can get started talking about the fight. At the beginning of chapter 24, Sasuke and Haku begin their fight by having a couple of clashes. It becomes apparent to both Zabuza and Kakashi seemingly that they can keep up with each other in terms of speed. Haku then reaffirms that he doesn't want to have to kill Sasuke, and then he starts weaving signs with just one hand. Sasuke is
That's impressive
confused,
as
but
well.
Kakashi is also confused, claiming that he's never seen someone weave signs with just one hand
Big
before.
deal.
The closest most people come in the ninja world to using a one-handed sign is this sign here whenever they're starting to concentrate chakra into their legs to use body flicker. But this is not at all comparable to Haku weaving multiple signs at
Yeah.
a time with just one hand.
Mental.
Sasuke evades Haku's water needle jutsu by doing exactly what I just said, using body flicker, and then he puts Haku on the defensive, claiming that now Haku will only be able to run from his attacks. Sasuke then fakes out Haku with a kunai throw and then manages to land a hit on Haku, kicking him back, and Zabuza is surprised that Haku lost in a battle of speed. This to me is yet another indicator that Haku is holding back, since Zabuza is just extremely surprised
He's like, "What?
that Sasuke
That's
was able to
ridiculous."
beat Haku
Yeah.
in speed here. I want to mention for people who don't think Haku is holding back that Haku only summons his ice mirrors whenever Zabuza tells him that at this rate they'll be driven backwards, and as we all know, Haku is really nothing more than a tool for Zabuza, and that's what his entire existence is based off of at this point, because of Zabuza saving him when he was a small child.
Yeah, he
The
feels like he owes
jutsu
him.
is extremely powerful though. As soon as Haku summons it and steps into the mirrors, Kakashi immediately wants to intervene on the fight, while
Yeah.
earlier he told Sakura that he wanted to leave Haku up to Sasuke. Haku then claims that he'll show Sasuke his real speed, and then
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, that could be a bit of a big deal here, and then it's like, I need to get involved, but I can't. Oh crap.
and starts barraging him with assaults. It is entirely possible that Haku is telling the truth here and actually moving at full speed. However, no one reacts to Haku at this point in time, so there's nothing to contradict any holding back arguments or holding back statements that may have been applied earlier. I will mention, Haku did get hit by a Naruto shuriken thrown at him from out of his point of view, but it didn't do any critical damage or wound him or anything. It only slightly scratched his mask across the front. Zabuza then throws around 5 shuriken at Naruto, and Haku counters all of them, possibly indicating that he's trying to save Naruto from Zabuza, claiming that he, quote, wants to fight him in his own way. Sasuke then figures out that all of Haku's cuts are superficial and that he thinks he's killing him slowly, leaving the vital targets for last.
But it's
We
on
all
purpose,
obviously
yeah.
know where I'm going with this. This is just yet another implication that Haku is holding back and does not actually want to kill them. We learned earlier that Haku knows all the ins and outs of the body and that he should be able to do something like this, cut someone up and just make it hurt rather than having it kill them. Sasuke then tries to light the mirrors on fire and melt them using his fire style jutsu, but it doesn't work at all. It doesn't even put a dent in the mirrors whatsoever.
Which is mad.
After another small assault, Naruto tries to attack every one of Haku's mirror at the same time using the Shadow Clone Jutsu, but Haku quickly shuts it down by running through every mirror and killing every clone at the same time. Haku then tells us that his technique is part of using the art of teleportation, which, if you don't know, that's just how Viz translates the body flicker technique. Haku then reaffirms again after a short flashback that he cannot help but prefer if the two of them do not force him to kill them. Haku then starts to babble about having to kill his own heart and how he has dreams too, and we all know that this is really just a ploy and he's trying to impress Zabuza, who he cares about a lot. We know that his dream in the end is simply to protect Zabuza. We then cut away from Naruto and Sasuke versus Haku, and we cut to Zabuza versus Kakashi round 2. Zabuza is talking to Kakashi about how the same technique won't work on him twice, which is the same thing Kakashi told him in their first fight. He says that he's already seen through the system of the Sharingan, and that he had Haku hiding in the background examining every aspect of their battle. He says that Haku is bright, and by seeing a technique only once, he can usually come up with a way to defeat it. That means that Haku should have some level of Sharingan counter, at least based on this statement and interaction from Zabuza. Cutting back to Naruto and Sasuke versus Haku, Haku claims that he's aiming for critical areas, yet Sasuke keeps dodging and he seems to slowly be learning to follow his movements. I'll get back to this in a second, but this also doesn't contradict the argument of Haku holding back. He does say Sasuke can see something. Haku then comes for Sasuke again, and while he's in the middle of it, Sasuke happens to awaken his Sharingan this time, and he sees through Haku completely. Haku calls Sasuke an amazing boy, a prodigy, but then he lets us know that his own jutsu forces him to expend a great deal of chakra, which to me implies that he is losing a lot of chakra and is probably losing speed as well due to that. If you pay attention to Haku's hands, he's also no longer using the body flicker symbol whenever moving in between mirrors, showing that he's not going all out using his jutsu. I also want to point out that the databook scan says that when Haku is going in between mirrors, he can use his light speed movement, and that's not what he's doing here. What he's doing at this moment, when Sasuke actually reacts to him going for Naruto and kicks him away, what he's doing in this moment is going directly for Naruto. That's why Sasuke is able to react to him. So you have Sasuke reacting to Haku, who is not using body flicker, running out of chakra, and not going in between his mirrors. This is obviously the part where Sasuke quote unquote dies. We know now that Haku just simply put him in a death-like state, the same way he did to Zabuza towards the beginning of the arc, and then Naruto starts to go berserker mode Nine Tails. And when Naruto goes Nine Tails, he just starts to beat Haku down. Now, he never reacts to Haku going in between his mirrors, so there's no claiming he's light speed or anything like that. But he does react to Haku coming at him multiple times, and he overwhelms his ice mirrors to the point where a simple punch can shatter them, and he breaks Haku's mask also with a punch. So it is pretty consistent that Naruto is probably stronger than this Haku, but like I said earlier, Haku is running out of chakra rapidly, and he hasn't been trying the entire fight. Of course, defeating Haku even at this stage is still an impressive feat. I'm just saying, it's not saying much that Naruto is going to scale to a full power Haku just because he managed to beat this weakened one after getting super mental amped. I also want to say that Haku does completely outspeed Raikiri Kakashi here, so unless you think Kid Sasuke is faster than Kakashi when using his lightning blade, which I don't think anyone realistically would, Haku was definitely holding back on the children. Now, Nine Tails Amp Naruto being stronger than Kakashi isn't as contentious as Sasuke being stronger than Kakashi is, but I did just want to mention that Haku outspeeds Kakashi here towards the end of his life. I'm also aware that this could possibly be a mental amp, since this is the prerequisite Haku set out for us to get a mental amp in the first place, which was protecting something precious to you. You can be as strong as you need to be. And we know that Zabuza is basically the most precious thing in the world to Haku, to the point where Haku is willing to die for it. And I'll go over this a little bit later when I'm covering the Edo Tensei, but Haku does this twice, even when he's a dead zombie. So it is very, very consistent that he wants to protect Zabuza this way. This would be the part where I talk about Naruto and Haku's interaction in the forest on his 6th day of training. But when I went back to reread this part of the manga, it was a lot shorter than I originally remembered it being, and not all that much substance is in it. It's really just Haku reminding Naruto that if you have someone to protect, you can truly become stronger. And then Naruto obviously thinks he's a girl. But other than
Yeah, that's
that,
quite
nothing
funny.
really happens in this moment. We get a little glimpse into the future and what we're going to learn about Haku and Zabuza's past, but there's no dialogue exchanged here that would give you like a deeper look at Haku's character or anything like that, other than, him wanting to protect Zabuza. But I guess I won't say anything about this and just move on to Haku when he's revived as an Edo Tensei. I don't think anyone would disagree that titles hold a lot of weight in Naruto, and specifically with your title can come a sort of gauge of your power level. When Haku is talking about the people that he revived, he says that first we have the former Akatsuki members, then the former Jinchuriki, in addition previous Gokage title holders, and finally a collection of other exceptional shinobi. And that last part is the one that Haku is a group of. I think it's a little bit telling that Haku is revived alongside some of these other extremely strong people, namely Zabuza, Kimimaru, Chiyo, Hanzo, and the third Raikage. The only people in this group that are sort of lacking would be Hiyashi, Hyuga, and Asuma, but even then they're still really strong shinobi that we know.
Yeah, he never just revived just anybody for the sake of it, did he? Like, just make an army. It was like, I want capable, like, ninja.
Haku is even stronger than just due to his interactions with Kakashi. But I just wanted to mention that Haku did get chosen to be revived, among other people who were also chosen like Shisui and Jiraiya, that Kabuto could just never get his hands on their DNA. One of the first things Haku does on the battlefield in the war arc is block 26 paper bombs from Sai, using something we've never seen him use before, that being an ice shield. He also reacts to these before they even come on panel, so I think this is pretty impressive.
Damn fast,
The next thing Haku does is actually more impressive than the last thing, at least in my mind. We've never seen Haku summon an ice mirror extremely high in the sky before. When he did it against Sasuke, they were extremely close together, but here in the war arc, next to Sai, he summons an ice mirror all the way above Sai in the clouds and knocks him down back to earth. There's not a crazy whole lot more to talk about here with Haku, considering he's not in the arc for that much more longer. He's only in the war arc for a grand total of around 5 or 6 chapters. The only thing super impressive that he does is actually get in front of Kakashi's Raikiri again, even after all these years of Kakashi getting much stronger, not only through different fights, but through different mental clarities that he's obtained. I wish there was more to talk about with Haku, but in reality there just isn't. Even with his extra appearance in the war arc, almost 500 chapters after his death, there's really nothing more because he's just a mindless zombie at this point. You really only get the fact that he learns that he was able to protect Zabuza in the end, and that makes him pretty happy. But after that, like I said, just a mindless zombie, and all he does is fight. So I guess that's pretty much it for the video. If you feel like I left something out that was super important, you can leave it down in the comments and maybe I'll reply to it or something along those lines. But other than that, if you like the video, obviously leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. But other than that, have a nice day.
Sweet, yeah, decent video. Yeah, Haku is something else, and it was a shame that, like, in the Edo Tensei form didn't do a lot with him. Yeah, he's right as well. Not many people do talk about Haku, but very impressive speed feats, very powerful, and awesome video. Check out my Etsy shop. Links in the description there for t-shirts and hoodies that I've designed. And thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask for. Channel is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch, discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.